Welcome to Conversations with Women Who Lead, honest conversations about business, leadership, and what really shapes how women lead. I'm Anne-Marie McHenry, business coach, consultant, creator, and a therapist for the past 2 decades. On this podcast, I sit down with women to talk about their businesses and their unique areas of expertise, as well as how their upbringing, background, and the social conditioning they've experienced have shaped the way they lead. We explore what they've had to learn and unlearn along the way. I'll also be sharing my own journey of founding and selling a business and the very real trials, lessons, and reinvention involved in building my next chapter, Rose and Stone. This is a space for thoughtful leadership, honest conversation, and women redefining success on their own terms. I'm so happy you're here. Thanks for joining us on Conversations with Women Who Lead. Today, we have a really beautiful and affirming conversation with Shelby Leigh. Shelby is a licensed somatic psychotherapist, assessor, coach, and meditation teacher with over 20 years of experience supporting deep feelers and sensitive souls. Her work is grounded in relational, somatically focused trauma healing and gentle nervous system support, alongside autism and ADHD assessments and support for late diagnosed, high masking folks. Shelby's practice is neurodiversity affirming, inclusive, and deeply trauma informed. Her fierce tenderness, compassion, and care offer people a true refuge for coming home to themselves. Shelby's approach is shaped by her lived experience as a neurocomplex person and a lifelong devotion to embodied leadership, the kind that builds steadiness, honors sacredness, and makes room for belonging. Well, let's start with welcome, Shelby, to Conversations with Women Who Lead. Thank you so much for coming here today and joining my podcast, talking with business owners doing really incredible things in the world and for our community. So, yes, deep breath. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for
I
having
would
me.
love, of course, I would love if you introduce yourself and tell me about what you've been up to lately.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, my name's Shelby Leigh, and I am a licensed professional counselor or some version of that in various states. And I'm a somatic psychotherapist, a neuro-affirming autism and ADHD assessor for folks later in life who have been thinking that they were trying to heal from complex trauma, which they probably were, but beneath all of that lived unidentified neurodivergence. And I love my job so much. I've been in this field for 20 years now. How are we so old?
I don't know.
And, that's just what I do for work. I live in the middle of the Montana mountains, Western Montana. I moved here from Oregon not too long ago and spend my days orienting to asking myself what is the most loving way I can live and how can I be to support myself as a late in life identified neurodivergent, autistic, ADHD, complex trauma survivor, sensitive soul.
Yeah.
So my life revolves around dogs and horses and a lot of just wandering around the hills of Montana.
Sounds very peaceful.
It is. Well, I mean, in here it's never peaceful, but out there it is.
So tell me how you got into your line of work. It sounds like you identify with the work that you do, but tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it feels so important to say I feel giddy because I love my work so much and at supporting a lot of therapists, so many people don't
Mm-hmm.
and or burn out, and I just love, love, love what I do. And I did not think I was going to be a therapist. I never had dreams of being a therapist. I wanted to be a singer-songwriter or a teacher of sorts or a Buddhist meditation teacher. I really thought I would be way too like not healed enough myself ever
Mm-hmm.
to support others, that I was just maybe a little too um broken, I thought, to be able to help others feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to be a Buddhist teacher most of all and went to my teachers and said, "What should I do?" And I was about 26 years old maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Well, you're way too young to teach meditation and do what we do. So we're all therapists." why don't you go get a therapy degree? And I was like, ugh. The people pleaser in me took myself to therapy school.
Uh-huh.
And in that process, I started working with clients and realized a really, really like liked my clients a lot. But
Mhm.
just that it was easy. It felt like, oh my gosh, I could connect, I could relate, and I felt helpful and I love
Mhm.
feeling helpful. So it just
Mhm.
stuck.
Mhm. And what got you to the point where you are today in your business?
Gosh, a lot of I often picture like a knotted ball of yarn. A lot of trying a lot of things in terms of the business side of things.
Mhm.
Like a lot of wandering around, wondering what my thing was because I looked out into like social media and the marketing world and other therapists, other
Mhm.
coaches. I was actually certified as a coach long before
Mhm.
um, I was a therapist. And so I just really tried everything
Mhm.
in terms of the business side of things of like, how do I work well and not burn out and still love what I do?
Mhm.
And I did. I failed a lot and
Mhm.
I succeeded a lot. It, but there was a thread the whole way through of being of deep support to folks who really find a lot of suffering in their life and have no idea how to
Mhm.
feel better, and they've tried everything.
Mhm.
And I just have stayed with that just as I've stayed with myself in that journey, and, I have, yeah, on the non-businessy side of things, on my, focuses, I've just tried everything personally, like, "How can I
Mhm.
feel better?" And
Mhm.
then really felt again and again that it was around something related to somatics, which is pretty much in everything I've done, and, something related to just, like, slowing down
Mhm.
and connecting deeply without performing, without
Mhm.
practicing perfectionism,
Mhm.
and I'm guessing pretty much everyone you talk to is probably like, "I found this thing because I needed it most."
Mhm.
And so then I brought it to others, and,
Mhm.
it comes in various forms, but I think it's almost always just packaged as, like, a really deep-hearted, connected,
Mhm.
how do we help anybody that walks through the door feel safe enough to
Mhm.
be as fully and completely expressed as themselves, no matter what they've been through or
Mhm.
who they are.
Mhm.
How do we do that? And it changes and it shifts.
Yeah. It's just with you as you grow and evolve as well, right? And become more aware and more grounded and maybe not more grounded all the time. I don't know. That's always a practice, right?
Yeah, no, I haven't conquered that one yet.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for saying that. Like,
Not
you're
at
one of the
all.
most peaceful people that I know. But for you to not feel grounded all the time, that's really affirming that we're always working on that, especially the experts in the room.
For sure. And really, my practice is a lot of acceptance around like my brain and nervous system hasn't had the support or
Mhm.
structures or like connection in my life to really be able to feel grounded. I've been a lot in like survival, or maybe I should do it like they're doing it.
Mhm.
And so now I'm figuring out how to do it like I want to do it.
Yeah, in a way that works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, grounded is like intermittent.
Yes, I can relate to that. Um, it sounds like what you're describing is being able to do the work that you do and to create a really safe space for people where you feel deeply connected and authentic in that work comes from you also doing that work and supporting yourself in your own healing. Is that right?
Yes, I think so. I'm gonna kind of think about it.
Yeah.
I hope so. I think my answer is I hope so. Like my wish is that I can create a safe enough space for people
Mhm.
that walk into my door, whether it's my clients or my friends or my neighbors.
Mhm.
And uh, I, even 20 years ago, that was my wish. But I
Mhm.
find that, yes, like I cannot do it genuinely. without
Mhm.
like, when I originally started helping people, it was a lot more like, I think I should do it this way, and
Mm.
the more that I find safety in my body, in my
Mhm.
heart, in my well-being, in my home, on the land that I walk in, it just gets easier and easier to do that with
Mhm.
people, and so, yes, I would say it's been mandatory.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think, and let me know what you think, but, like, a sign of a helpful therapist is knowing that they are also doing their own work or have some journey around their own work, and I think we all find our way in that journey at different ages and different phases of our life. But I always would encourage clients to, if they're therapist shopping, ask their therapist about the work that they've done. And maybe that's like putting therapists on the spot, but I've never had a problem answering that question. I think that's a really important thing to check in with your therapist about. Are you doing your own work? What does that look like for you? Don't be afraid to ask those questions because I think they're really important to know that you're working with someone who also can understand that you're in a very deep and scary place in your life where you need someone who maybe hasn't been through the same thing, but can hold the space for it because they understand it.
Yeah, I totally agree, and, as you were just saying that, I was just feeling like I took a deep breath, and I feeling the permission, I think, as a client, and
Yeah.
imagining you telling me, Anne-Marie, the work you've done of
Hmm.
like, "Oh, okay, I feel like I can let more of myself out here."
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Well, do you get the question, or I've heard people ask this question. People have asked me, do therapists have therapists? And I'm always like, oh my, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, we all need help. I mean, I think everyone should be in therapy, maybe not forever and ever or always, but at different points in our lives. It's really helpful to talk to somebody and not just be in your own internal echo chamber.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, and you said it, is like, not maybe not forever.
Mhm.
And for me, I will always reach for a therapist when I'm going through really intense times, like last
Mhm.
year. It was not a time I wanted to go through by myself. I had a really
Yeah.
hard year. And so, yes, I know that I will always reach for a therapist. I'll probably also reach for a body worker
Mhm.
and create a circle of support around me of modalities that I find work for my nervous system
Mhm.
and I also am in a chapter right now. To be honest, am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Sure. I mean, no one's told me that we can't.
Where there's a big part of me that's like, fuck therapy. Because I went undiagnosed as an autistic ADHDer for
Mhm.
20, no, I mean, for 40 some years.
Sure. Yeah.
And I told every therapist I'd ever seen that I felt I
Yeah.
felt autistic.
Yeah.
And so I'm going through a rage phase right now.
I love that.
But
Yeah.
I'm also getting to know and hopefully embodying for myself, like, what is it like to be a therapist who is willing to step outside of what I was learned and taught, was
Mhm.
taught
Mhm.
about autism and ADHD, which actually isn't much like what it actually is.
Mhm.
And being willing to go, yeah, let's look at this too.
Mhm.
Instead of just trauma or borderline personality disorder or
Mhm.
bipolar or whatever you want to call it. It's like, I just am wanting us all to widen our awareness and get rid of stereotypes and
Mhm.
welcome those of us who were missed, who maybe you couldn't tell at
Mhm.
first glance, but also maybe you didn't know actually what made up a high massing autistic person.
Totally. And I mean, I had to take responsibility for my not knowing either as a trained therapist of, been in the field as long as you have. There is so much education that we received 20 years ago that's just not current, and even 10 years ago with what we know now about autism and ADHD and AuDHD. And I
Yes.
have been learning from you in the last year about what all of this is. And so I would love for you to share more about your experience, what you know, what research you know, where are you learning, just anything you'd want, because this is also part of your job now, is supporting people through this journey of understanding
Yes.
what ADHD is, right?
Totally. Yes. Okay, wait, what was the first question? I know you just asked many.
Yeah, well, I mean, my first part was I wanna take responsibility for not knowing either and being really
Mhm.
uneducated because
Yes.
what I was taught and then, I worked in the field for a while and then got away from, neurodivergence, which wasn't even called neurodivergence 10 years ago. We were talking about
Yeah.
being autistic and being developmentally delayed and, like, really stigmatizing words that have caused a lot of people pain and that as clinicians we were taught was correct at the time, right?
Right.
So my heart hurts for
Uh,
anyone that I have harmed through my work as a clinician,
yeah.
just not knowing and being uneducated and, then not doing better or differently because I didn't choose to stay in that specialty,
Yeah.
right? So
Me
there's that.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I will absolutely own that as well. I was and am a trauma specialist focused on developmental and complex trauma. And that was the lens that I was trained in and saw through.
Mhm.
And there were also these subtle messages that were like, "Oh, we don't deal with autism."
Mhm.
It's like even that is like, "Whoa, what's going on there?"
Yeah.
And how did none of us speak up in grad school? Like yeah, I went through grad school, I went through training after training after training where nobody mentioned autism or
Mhm.
ADHD unless it was like a flippant like, "Oh yeah, we all know what ADHD is." It's like the boys
Mhm.
in the 90s who are out of control.
Yeah.
And without this deep acknowledgement that there's such challenge and such suffering
Mhm.
being somebody who either is autistic or ADHD or has been undiagnosed and then has realized that this is who they are
Mhm.
and that we don't have support systems that are accurate
Yeah.
or affirming that everything is a little like, "Oh, I don't touch that," and I'm like, "Why?" Where it's not like we should be not trained for that.
Yeah.
And then the reality is I have a lot of clients I have a handful of clients who are in therapist school right now in 2026, and they still haven't heard the
Mhm.
word neurodivergent or autism in their classes.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I'm on my soapbox.
Yeah. No, I think that's important to name. Um,
Yeah,
so tell me more about the work that you're doing in the AuDHD world and tell me more about what that means.
sure. Yes. So I have kind of several hats. I'm a coach,
Mhm.
I'm a therapist, and an assessor. And what that means is that folks can come to me and get a diagnosis if they meet the criteria for autism and or ADHD.
Mhm.
However, if we're neuro-affirming, you don't need a diagnosis to be autistic because there's major accessibility issues that come along with not only receiving an accurate diagnosis, but a well-educated one with somebody that understands the nuances of what it's like to be maybe a marginalized person or somebody with complex or developmental trauma, what ADHD and autism look like when it doesn't look like what we think it has looked like, or
Mhm.
just like the bare minimum of what you would read in the DSM.
Mhm.
And evaluations, assessments can be so expensive or long wait lists.
Mhm.
And so I just want to underline like, you don't have to have a diagnosis to be ADHD or autistic if you know you are.
Mhm.
For all those people that are afraid of feeling like imposters, I
Mhm.
want to lead with that because being a neuro affirming practitioner means we share power. We're
Mhm.
collaborating in discovery.
Mhm.
We are not checking boxes like we're checking off a medical form when we're in conversation.
Mhm.
We're looking at many aspects of how we experience life, how life meets us from so many different places and throughout a lifetime. And it takes a lot to meet
Mhm.
that criteria. And so, for a lot of folks that come to me, they want that extra validation because they have lived so long kind of playing whack-a-mole
Mhm.
and like, "Wait, it's this. No, it's that. No, but I was told it's this." And they kind of really already pretty much know that
Mhm.
they're neurodivergent in some way. and they
Mhm.
just want to sit with someone that's willing to hear their story,
Mm.
hear all of the major challenges, all of the wins, all of the beauty of what it's like to be a deeply sensitive person in this way.
Mhm.
And they want to sit across from someone that's actually going to listen and not look for, oh, deficit, deficit, problem, problem. It's going to be like, oh, yeah, your brain works differently.
Mhm.
I can see how that's created a lot of struggle because
Mhm.
we don't live in a world that creates space for learning like that or communicating like that. But I can also see where the gifts are. And so people come to me to, I hope, feel validated and then walk away being able to kind of tap into a sense of freedom and compassion that maybe they've been looking for 40 years and they just finally get. Some people
Mhm.
don't get diagnosed with ADHD and autism, but my what I hope I do is just give people space to be more seen and have a little more clarity
Mhm.
with whatever it is they're
Mhm.
coming in with and next steps.
Yeah.
So that might come in around coaching, around if we have executive function differences of like, I'm really stuck and I'm a person in a leadership role and I keep dropping the ball and I know my potential is so great and I just
Mhm.
suffer with shame and task paralysis. And so we might work with people to one, start with compassion and two, find structures and systems that work for them. And then therapy is all just nervous system support. It's very
Mm.
somatic, it's very quiet. It's not a lot of story. It's how do we help your body feel safe enough so you can be more yourself,
Mhm.
not more performing or masking or producing, but however your unique expression of you is. And I feel excited saying that because I feel like anybody that gets their physiology feeling safer, there's something really cool on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, you just said so much. There's so
I
much
know.
there. No, I love it. Can we go back to when as a neuro-affirming practitioner, you're not in the business of diagnosing people, but if people want to have the diagnosis and have someone listen to their story and what they've experienced, you are certainly a person who can do that with them. What do you find? What is your experience of sitting with a client who then does receive the diagnosis of autistic ADHD or AuDHD? What does that do for somebody?
Mm, I'm gonna do a very quick tangent because I just felt the really giddy inner part of me. Remember that we went to middle school together and we were
Yeah.
best friends, and I just want to tell the whole world.
Okay, let's do it.
I was just seeing us as like these mid-40s humans talking to each other and just had a little moment.
Which is so cool.
Totally. Yes. So you've been outed.
I am happy to share my story. I mean, that's part of my intention behind like this new business is like, let's be human and, not make it about us because we're here to serve and to show up for others. But I do think like being human is a really important part of supporting people. We're not
Oh,
robots, right? We get to be the
totally.
genuine, real people that we are too. And those are the clients that I would want to work with are the ones who not necessarily want to like deflect and only hear about their coach or their practitioner, but like do appreciate that there is another person on the side of this who really does get their story because not everyone does. So yeah, we
Does
went to
that
middle
mean
school
we get to
together.
interview you at some point?
I would love that. Sure.
Okay, cool.
You've
Okay.
got a podcast too that we need to talk about.
I know, totally. Yes. Okay, so say somebody does succumb and we discover that they are autistic. They're ADHD. They're autistic
Mhm.
and ADHD. It could be
Mhm.
anything, or they discover they're ADHD. And there can be any number of reactions. It usually takes about a year, honestly, to like go on a ride when you've gone multiple decades trying everything in the world
Mhm.
to figure out what that feeling is that just doesn't quite feel like it's landed yet. You've
Mhm.
tried everything and something's still like, ugh, still hurting.
Mhm.
Um, and when it does, a lot of the time, and I can't speak for all of my clients, but there is just a like tears like of, oh my God, I feel seen. I feel
Mhm.
finally like somebody was willing to listen. they didn't do that thing. "Oh, you don't look autistic," or "Aren't we all a little on the spectrum?" Like, they really were willing, and I should say most people show up so nervous because they think they're gonna have to prove to me, like,
Mhm.
with every piece of paper they have from age 5 and every journal entry to now, why they
Mhm.
believe they fit the criteria, and right away within 10 minutes, I think they know that that's not what they're gonna get when they come to me,
Yeah.
that their experience and their voice matters.
Mhm.
Um, so when we finally get to that part, most people are, like, crying and relieved and feel like something has been totally validated that has been invalidated through, macro or microaggressions their entire life, just through, "Oh,
Mm.
you're just a little sensitive," or, a little much or too intense, or
Mhm.
and then pretty shortly after usually comes a big wave of rage. Like, months sometimes of,
Okay.
"Wow, where was my mom
Uh-huh.
when I was telling my mom how
Mm.
much things hurt?" And my brother got diagnosed with ADHD, but I was the good kid. I know
Mhm.
I learned how to be a good girl.
Right. You got really good at masking.
You got so good at knowing how to play the game because 'cause you're so
Yeah.
damn smart. Not that
Mhm.
your brother wasn't, but,
Mhm.
folks socialized with different genders got looked at in different ways from our parents,
Mhm.
from culture, from teachers, from therapists. And
Mhm.
so, usually there's like a, "What the heck? What happened? How did I get
Mhm.
missed?" And
Mhm.
then people start kind of realizing, "Oh my gosh, I get to be myself."
Mhm.
Combined with, "Who the hell is that?"
Yeah.
Like, who am I if I'm not being who I thought I was supposed to be in order to be loved, to feel safe, to belong, or
Mhm.
any number of reasons? It felt genuine, it really did. But then when we realize what masking is and how hard we've been working,
Mhm.
layers come off. And so
Mhm.
I think there's just a slow kind of feel like a release of
Yeah.
that's actually not me. I don't actually want to do that. I don't need to do that. Yes, I do need support, actually.
Yeah.
And so there can be a lot of contemplation and going, in good ways and bad. Like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, that's why I'm so cool in that way. you know?
Mhm.
I had no idea my intense interest in horses was autistic. It was socially acceptable. But
Yeah.
the way I go into that
Mhm.
interest is very autistic, but it's
Mhm.
acceptable.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
there can be some reclaiming. Like for
Mhm.
me, I moved to a ranch after growing
Mhm.
up with horses every single day and then missing them for 20 years. And then I was like,
Mhm.
nope, that's real for me. My
Yeah.
relationship with horses was actually real.
Yeah.
So,
And they're such sensitive creatures too.
yeah, I'm pretty sure we're the same, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
they really are. Hmm.
Yeah. What little experience I've had with horses and sort of an equine therapy experience is how they really see through your bullshit and you can't play the game with them. And I was a mess. I've only had one experience that was so intense and I wanted to continue and then of course life got in the way and I didn't grow up with horses in the way that you did, but going through that one, I think it was a coaching or therapy or blend of the two session, I was like, okay, I've got some work to do. This is bringing up all of my stuff. And this horse, like really sees me for who I am and is not willing to put up with my mask and the persona that I'm trying to like put out there so that the horse likes me. I really wanted the horse to like me, you
Yes. Yeah.
know?
What was the horse showing you? Like, how did you know the horse wasn't putting up with your bullshit, in quotes?
I was supposed to, or the directive was, I think, to just like have the horse walk with me around the the rink. I don't
Hmm.
know what it's called.
Ring,
The ring.
round
Thank you.
pen.
Yeah. Um, and it really didn't wanna follow me or walk with me. I think that's what happened, and so I was trying to be nice and be like I was trying to be nice, of course, and trying to be funny and make light of it, and I don't remember, but it was like a whole gamut of my tricks that, have gotten me this far in my life, and the horse was not moving. So it was really humbling, and it, like, brings up, like, this pit in my stomach even thinking about it, how painful that was to see what I was trying to create with this horse who was just, like, really not having any of it, but that's what I've been doing my whole life,
Mm,
you know?
gosh. When you said, "And he just wouldn't follow me," I just felt, like, tears, oh, right behind my heart.
I
That
was like, I don't
feeling
know
of,
how
like
to be real. I mean, that's kind of what came up for me is like, I don't know how to be me.
yeah.
Have you had that experience or heard that experience from people?
About not being real or the horse
The
experience?
horse experience in any iteration of that.
Every iteration of that, yes.
Okay.
I mean, that is the beauty of working with horses, and I think you probably had this experience too. She's like, of course you wanted that horse to like you because they're like the most sweet. I mean, I have
Yeah.
almost every bone in my body broken from a horse, but they're generally very sweet and like you want them to be your best friend.
Mhm,
And so there's so much to work with there. And
mhm, mhm,
you know what's funny? You're bringing me back to when you're like, "Well, do you work with a therapist?" My thing right now is I work with horses in that way for
mhm.
myself, and that
Yeah,
is my therapist right now because
yeah.
I'm really struggling to like myself in front of people. So,
Hmm.
thank you for that.
Well, I know that's your own work to do, but it's beautiful to hear that your therapy right now is with horses because they do feel like the most powerful creature and presence to be our witness of who we are. I
Yeah.
mean, I was so profoundly impacted by that experience I had. I mean, I can only imagine how much healing and then more work and more deep healing being in the presence of horses and the amount that you've been able to do in your life has been so helpful for you.
Yeah, yeah, I am down a deep rabbit hole in social media land around I grew up wanting to ride my horse all the way to the Olympics, and that takes a certain
Mhm,
kind of riding that
mhm, mhm,
doesn't take a horse into consideration in any way, shape, or
mhm,
form.
mhm.
And so now I've barely ridden because I'm wanting to rewire my nervous system and orientation towards like, how do I relate to a horse when I won't need to use it for something?
Yeah.
And it's like, that alone is therapy. I have to just sit on the side of the pasture without doing anything, and all I wanna do is run and jump the horse or groom it or feed it or talk to it or entertain it or try to get it to walk over and hang out with me,
Yeah.
and just sitting there is, like, very humbling.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Tell me then about the experience of someone with AuDHD. What are the actual symptoms? And I know that this relates to being in the presence of horses, but I want you to make that connection because I don't fully know what it is, but what are the characteristics of AuDHD? And maybe if you can describe how healing or helpful it's been to be with horses for your whole life, now knowing that you have that diagnosis as well. In quotes, diagnosis.
Yes, totally. Um, okay, I think I'll start with, like, what essentially might somebody who has ADHD be experiencing, and
Mhm.
then how might it be helpful to be hanging out with horses? Is that right? Is that what you're
Yeah, yeah.
meaning?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm definitely not gonna cover everybody's experience because, a spectrum means there are no two people alike.
Sorry, I'm putting you on
Um
the spot of, like, can you speak for everyone who has
I'm gonna do my best, but I can
Awesome.
speak for myself, and I have a really unique set of clients who I sit with, and I'm like, they remind me so much of myself.
Yeah.
Um, so I love that you keep saying ADHD instead of one or the other, because in my mind and heart and experience, autism has its own experience, ADHD has its own experience, and ADHD has its own experience. It's not like ADHD is autism plus ADHD, and now we just have double all the symptoms. In fact, folks with ADHD tend to feel like they are in a tug of war from the moment they wake up before they even open their eyes. So the moment they go to sleep, which can be so taxing on a system because
Mhm.
the autism part might really enjoy like creature comforts, routine, structure, familiarity. The autism part loves to know what's going to happen next and have the plan, have time to transition. If transition happens out of nowhere, it can be really uncomfortable. Um, Autism loves steadiness, consistency, predictability for the most part.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of sensory sensitivity can become really overwhelming or overstimulating connected to autism if we become overwhelmed really quickly or
Mhm.
just in general. Like I
Mhm.
could smell my neighbor's fire and they're over a mile away right now in this moment, that kind
Mhm.
of thing. um, but it conflicts with ADHD, which is why it's so hard to be diagnosed.
Mhm.
Um, Not even to mention CPTSD. But
Yep.
ADHD loves novelty. It loves spontaneity. It loves, for the most part, like it's got a lot of energy behind it and aliveness,
Mhm.
whether that shows up in us as internal anxiety, restlessness, rumination, or external loving to just be in motion all the time and burning energy with our bodies. Could be in or out or both.
Mhm.
It loves to be kind of, I wouldn't say, maybe loves to isn't the right word, but it has a pattern of like one thing and then this and then that and then this and then like we can do 1,000 things with our mind, though we don't do it all well. So there are ways to kind of work with that energy with ADHD, which has so many passions, so many interests, until it burns out, and then there's a whole nother thing happening. With ADHD, it can be really hard to dive into deep projects, whereas autism loves a deep project.
Mhm.
But once you get started with ADHD, it's like can't stop, won't stop.
Mhm.
So we put we what happens is like there's a tug of war where both of these neurotypes live within us and become one.
Mhm.
And it can feel suffocating, it can feel strangling, it can feel like walking or carrying around a body full of bricks or rocks because it can be like up and down all day long. And
Mhm.
uh, ADHD tends to love to be social, tends to like go out and be the life of the party, have a lot of friends. Um, Autism, these are just not everyone, but
Yeah.
um, tends to like to have their one person, maybe a few, um, maybe hang out, kind of doing a project side by side, and um, focus on like very specific things.
Mhm.
They're just kind of like living within one human, an anomaly, right?
Mhm.
How that's so many different pieces of information for one brain to process all day, every day from waking to sleeping. Like, who am I? Where am I going? What am I interested in? What is my schedule? Where am I supposed to be? And so most of my ADHD folks end up with a lot of chronic health issues. They end up being burnt out more often even than folks with autism or ADHD. Most
Mhm.
folks I work with are level 1, um, which level 1 autism, level 2, and level 3 relate to how many support needs we might have.
Okay.
We all have support needs, but the level 1 ADHD folks tend to think they can do it all by themselves until they can't.
Mhm.
And then they really crash and burn.
Mhm.
Um, so what that looked like in my own body, and gosh, I had no idea. I wish my doctors knew. Is I would wake up and I would have all these like amazing creative ideas. I would jump into my work. I would run around the house doing 18 projects. I would dive deep into my special interest with this like level of focus that was can't stop, don't stop, won't quit, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then by 2 p.m., all I could do was put an eye mask on and sleep under a weighted blanket until I watched 10 episodes on Netflix,
Mhm.
warmed up a chicken pot pie, and passed out
Mhm.
because I didn't know how to dance with this energy to let it work for me instead of against me.
Yeah.
Um, and so again, like I can't speak for everyone. Those are
Mhm.
kind of some blanket statement things about each one of those 3 things, that should give you an idea.
Yeah. And talk to me about the tax on the nervous system of living
Mm,
in that space.
okay, and then I'm gonna talk about how horses can help it.
Uh,
So I like to think about it in terms of a term called allostatic load. Do you know that term?
Allostatic, I have heard it.
Okay.
I'm
So I like
spelling it in my brain right now, yes. A-L-O
A
or A-L-L-O?
ALLOSTATIC.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm not going to get all nerdy sciencey on you, but what an allostatic load is, we like to call it the cost of doing business in life.
Mm,
Our It's kind of the load of stress and the stress of masking, performance, pushing through, trying to be independent. Then you add like the trauma that happens on top of that all day, every day in life for a lot of people. And it's what happens when our body cannot keep burning energy at that rate.
mhm,
And so
mhm,
the load becomes higher and higher. And what happens as our allostatic load increases is we become what people like to call dysregulated. I don't
mhm,
use regulation so much anymore. It
mhm,
sounds too controlling. It's too simplified.
mhm,
But like we come out of harmony, out of balance, out of center. It's hard. Our executive function stops
mhm,
functioning well, or in our favor. We start dropping all sorts of balls in our life. We tend to have attacks on our immune system
mhm,
right away. So our immune system is working extra hard.
mhm.
Gut. Anybody out there have a gut issue?
Right, yeah.
um, the gut just it's trying to work so hard and um all things just start going they're like mystery illnesses, but the hormones go out of whack when our
Mhm,
allostatic load is high.
mhm,
So in any type of healing, most of us these days are essentially bringing down the allostatic load when
mhm,
we have co-regulation on board, when we're like
mhm,
connected in a deep way and present together, that
mhm,
load starts coming down. Horses are naturally, for the most part, I would guess, I'm not a
mhm,
scientist, um, more regulated, more in their state of
mhm,
kind of groundedness, centeredness. Their drive is for peace, for
mhm,
contentment. They're prey
mhm,
animals, and the last thing they want is to be in fight or flight, right?
mm, mhm,
So just naturally by being in their presence, they're gonna want us to
mhm,
come meet where they are and vice
mhm,
versa.
mhm,
And it's not gonna be true for every animal. They're domesticated animals. They've been abused, many of them. They're gonna be overwhelmed by our presence, especially if we're overwhelmed.
yeah,
But they don't have all the things going on
mhm,
that we do in our heads and that our therapists might. So it kind
mhm,
of simplifies the relationship. And you explained it better than I ever could of like how we can be in contact with such a brilliant animal and
mhm,
kind of start to come into more of a harmonious relationship with the things in us that suffer.
mhm, mhm, yeah. There's so much that we manage on a daily basis, let alone whatever our diagnoses are or non-diagnosed. I mean, not that we need to be diagnosed, but there's just so much going on, and we're all such different people,
Mhm.
managing different ways of existing and functioning in the world, and then throw in actual life that happens, and then globally what's going on in our country and all these things. It's crazy. It's a lot to
It's
manage.
so much. Yeah, I mean, we would all have a high allostatic load no matter what right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so you don't like to use the word regulation, which I hear you. That does sound kind of restrictive and conforming-y. Um, but I think most people are familiar with the term nervous system and nervous system regulation. And I know that also has been a deep area of specialty for you and how you've
Mhm.
supported your clients. Can you speak to how people can help themselves when they are having this high allostatic load, and especially if they are the AuDHD type and they're learning from you today, which this is the clearest that I've ever heard someone explain what it is to have this presentation. So thank you for that. But how can people help themselves if they don't have a horse to hang out with? Can they
Or
do?
a golden retriever.
Oh, I saw them in your background. Very sweet. Love dogs.
Um, how can people bring their allostatic load down? I mean, a million ways. Like my Feldenkrais practitioner, a body worker, that is
Mhm,
someone that feels deeply, deeply safe, safe enough where you can really exhale and feel
mhm,
supportive, healing touch. That
mhm,
physical touch can help allow the nervous system to do its job properly, to not be stuck in on all the time.
mhm,
Like another way folks describe AuDHD is having the brakes and the gas on full on all the time. And so ADHD is explained as being a Ferrari with bicycle brakes. And autism, I don't know, but I would love to hear that metaphor. Um,
mhm,
but so supportive touch, healing touch, whether it's from a practitioner we feel
mhm,
safe enough with, whether it's from a friend or a partner, a pet, cuddling with a pet can
mhm,
also actually bring it down.
mhm,
Uh, the modality that I use, yes, I'm just kind of a contrary person. I did say regulation forever. I do a nervous system regulation focused modality.
uh-huh,
And the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't want anyone regulating me. Why would I regulate someone else? So uh, the reality is co-regulation doesn't happen because we do something to another. It has to be a mutual thing that naturally happens coming out of mutual safety. It's not like
mhm,
I can co-regulate you or I can regulate you. It's not a
mhm.
real thing. That
Yeah,
even though if you're on Instagram right now, someone will make you think it is.
yeah.
Um, but if there are supportive therapeutic relationships, whether it's with a coach that you feel like you can
Mhm,
exhale with and just let more parts of yourself with, and they can slow down with you. A therapist that is hopefully going to pause you between words and just help be there so you can feel their presence with you. You can breathe with them. Maybe
mhm,
they have some kind of nervous system support modality that's creates connection between the two of you, not just you
mhm,
learning how to regulate your own body, but
mhm,
something that's more relational.
mhm,
Nature.
mhm,
Nature is the biggest thing I know. I know not everybody feels safe in nature or has access to it. Maybe you're a fan of your plants on your windowsill if you have those.
mhm,
Even just taking a few breaths with
mhm,
some other living being,
mhm,
depending on what feels accessible to you. For me, I want to be as far out in the woods as I can be with the
yeah,
trees. But if I'm honest with you, and I think this will help, I can still sit in the middle of nowhere, Montana, 2 hours from a grocery store with nobody anywhere near me, next to a tree and not feel connected. It's a
mhm,
practice.
mhm,
And that comes from a lifetime of complex trauma, of
mhm,
being taught that the way I connect is not legitimate.
mhm,
So it's just like a being willing
mhm,
to be open to connecting, and that will bring the load down. So yeah, I
mhm,
would say with any kind of living being, if that is not accessible for some people, things like weighted blankets, finding sensory experiences that are soothing,
mhm,
favorite
mhm,
music,
mhm,
essential oils, something
mhm,
that'll like let your heartbeat come to its natural rhythm, whether it's going really fast or too slow.
mhm. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
helpful. You've mentioned complex PTSD, and it sounds like that can be part and parcel to potentially someone who does have AuDHD. I don't want to lump everyone together, right? But especially as we're thinking about allostatic load and the nervous system, complex PTSD used to go, we didn't even used to have that language, first of all, until
Totally.
maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah. Or
But it's
somatic mindfulness.
right, right, right. Um, but I'm curious your thoughts on complex PTSD and how that relates to what you're talking about today because you've mentioned it a few times.
Yeah. Well, so many therapists who I reach out to who I'm like, hey, I'm really excited about offering these assessments. If you have anyone, send them my way, will often meet me with "Oh, that's really complicated. You can't." It's very hard when someone has trauma, like my complicated client, to be able to assess them with autism, which I get.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's a little bit opposite in my mind. I'm like, "Well, it's actually not as complicated as you think." Um, what happens it can happen in 2 ways. So
Mhm.
maybe you're a neurodivergent person who came into this world, you have secure attachment with
Mhm.
your parent or parents or family, whoever's raising you.
Mhm.
Things were pretty steady, and, there wasn't a lot of early trauma.
Mhm.
Um, you might s be put in some kind of environment over time that is a more neurotypically dominated environment, which is
Mhm.
the world.
Mhm.
As a neurodivergent person, you'll probably, gosh, I mean, I hope this changes over time. Most likely have experienced a layering of trauma of like, oh, you're too sensitive. Oh, why'd you react like that? Why do you need the lights dim? You know, what's your
Mhm.
problem? Why are you so controlling? Things are so rigid. Why do you move your body like that? You know, like I don't understand why you need so much time in that transition or you need care. You know, like
Mhm.
that is very, very real for anybody in a less dominant population. Any identity is like
Yeah.
if you are not doing it like the dominant quote unquote norm,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, you get slighted. You get like thousands and thousands of paper cuts, or maybe your arm cut off, depending on who you're hanging out with and
Yeah.
what your career is, what your schooling is, what your
Mhm.
situation is.
Mhm.
Most folks will come in with PTS, complex trauma, on top of the neurodivergence who didn't grow up
Mhm.
experiencing trauma in the way that we think of it.
Yeah.
But their nervous system is in survival because they cannot breathe, because they cannot be themselves.
Mhm. Mhm.
They weren't taught that being themselves was acceptable. And so what are they
Mhm.
going to do? They're going to be in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, all of
Mhm.
the different trauma responses. And so first we've got to get that nervous system settled,
Mm.
and then the neurodivergence usually just floats right to the top saying hello.
Yeah.
Other folks came, maybe had early trauma. Maybe
Mhm.
something happened through birth. Maybe they had an unavailable or inconsistent
Mhm.
caregiver. Maybe there was physical or emotional abuse, maybe an accident,
Mhm. Yeah.
maybe early in life or maybe late. And maybe that is leading a lot of the way they're interacting in life.
Mhm.
Maybe they're afraid a lot or
Yeah.
just stuck. And it's more trauma based than neurodivergent based
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
they didn't get support around that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then you have neurodivergence
Mhm.
intertwined with it or
Mhm.
living right beneath it.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
it is hard because both can be overstimulating.
Mhm.
Both can be, I'm gonna say it, dysregulating. Um, both can look like living in a fight, flight, freeze, fawn response all day, every
Mhm.
day. So it is complex, but I don't really care which one came first and which
Mhm.
one came second personally. What I care about is people's bodies' physiology feeling safe enough so that they can emerge,
Mhm.
whichever parts want to come out first.
Mhm.
And, oh, there's this thought, and it's so important, and it's drifting away. I feel like there was one piece that was so important that you asked that I didn't address.
Doesn't matter what came first? No. Well, what you're describing right now is, the complex PTSD and AuDHD. It sounds like anyone coming in to life with AuDHD and AuDHD experience is going to have experienced some version of complex PTSD because they were not the norm, and because they were not
Absolutely.
part of, like, the dominant normative culture. And so they have probably been slighted throughout their lives about how they've, needed different things to be certain ways in order to function and to feel better in their bodies. And so coming to
Mhm.
you, that's what I'm hearing is why CPTSD is part of the AuDHD experience,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they have set outside of, like, the quote unquote normal parameters of what we're supposed to be. And so they've had
Yes. And I
physically.
got the thought.
Yeah, great, perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, I think that with that, so many people don't get the experience of taking it all the way through. Like, they'll heal trauma, they'll be working on, healing those very real things where maybe they
Mhm,
were bullied, maybe they were, um, I don't know, experiencing all sorts of things, and it was really traumatic for their system, but something never clicks. Or what I find most often is there are a lot of folks that do feel helped
mhm,
by these nervous system modalities, by trauma healing, by all of the different modalities, and they're like, "I'm good, going back to my life, I feel great." But it's often the neurodivergent folks, 'cause they're like, "I have tried everything. Why is it
mhm,
working for everyone else, but not me?" And it's like,
mhm.
"Okay,
Yeah.
now we're onto something," and we don't wanna keep just treating it like trauma because that can sometimes land like, "You're broken, let's fix you."
Mhm.
And now we go, "Okay, what's different about you that we're not tending to that we need to kind of, like, allow to come to the surface to look at?"
Right. And the experience of I have tried all of the things. I know what all of my trauma is. I have done everything under the sun, and I still feel like there's something that I can't fix or that's broken about me and that I keep being told I should be fine. And you still have that like niggling is the word that's coming to my mind, but like
Mhm.
that, like there's still something else
Yeah.
here and I don't know what it is. And people keep telling me I should be fine.
Yeah, or, like, existential dread that will not change, and it's like,
Yeah.
yes, I mean, yes, some people live their whole lives with existential dread, and it could be connected to something that we could get you some answers around, so maybe you feel more compassion for that, maybe
Mhm.
a little more space, a little more kindness.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I, like, keep wanting to, like, exhale and just, like, continue letting go of whatever is coming up for me because this feels so affirming just talking to you about all of this. Because I think there are so many
Mhm.
people who have the experience, of, they've been in therapy forever, and they've done all of the body work, and they do all the movement-based stuff, and they've done a lot of research, and they are very self-aware of their experiences and what shaped them. But there's still this angst and this part that doesn't feel held or comforted or seen no matter how much inner child work we have done,
Yeah.
right?
Thank you. Thank you for
Our
saying
parts
that.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, whoever hears this, if this is helpful and, if they can find you or a practitioner like you to really acknowledge and affirm that there might be something else that we just haven't uncovered yet that maybe doesn't need fixing, but that it's just there. And let's
Yeah.
love on that and
Yeah.
understand it better.
Totally. And it's like one of my favorite things when I, have the final consult with clients is like, it's not like a, you have autism, like it's like a, can we have a dance party? It's
Yeah,
there is nothing inherently at all wrong with being
right.
neurodivergent. I mean, of course it comes with a lot of struggle, but most of the time it's because the world we live in can be really disabling because it doesn't
Mhm,
include us or reflect us or affirm
mhm,
us or support us in the ways we need. And
right.
so I don't even call it autism spectrum disorder. I try wherever I can, unless I have to for like an insurance company or some stupid
Mhm,
thing.
yep.
It's autism, period, with a capital
Yeah,
A, because it's nothing that needs fixing. It's a
right,
difference. It's a
right.
neurological difference.
And I think it's worth saying because I just learned this in the last couple years because I was trained as this is autism spectrum disorder, but that then set us up as clinicians and people to believe that they were on one end, the better end, the higher functioning end, or you're on the lower functioning, the worse end, and you're worse off. And so then there's this dichotomy created in the disorder, in the diagnosis, making one good and one bad. And that
Mhm.
also is very shaming. It,
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes therapists, like, not wanna get trained on it because it's so intense or whatever,
yeah.
and that just naturally creates a culture of difference that doesn't feel good to have when people are looking at you that way, and it's
Yeah.
just not that. And
Yeah.
today we're talking a lot about, mostly level 1 or level 1.5 autistic folks that
Mhm.
can generally live independently, that tend to be speaking instead of non-speaking autistic
Mhm.
folks, and
Mhm.
with a whole different set of challenges, different set of trauma,
Mhm.
but so I just want to honor and acknowledge that there is a spectrum. There's so many different experiences within this,
Yeah.
and I just feel so grateful to get to be somebody that looks at
Mhm.
what's amazing about it. Not like it's your superpower because that like overrides the no, this is really hard part.
Yeah.
But it's a whole experience.
Yes. So, because I'm interested also in business and small business owners and women in business, I'm curious how you might see that show up in a female leader or business owner, and how common you think that this is with that type of person. Um, I don't mean to be
Mm.
stigmatizing in any way, but I just feel like this is probably so much more common in business owners and leaders than we might know.
So common. I mean, I'm a bad judge of it because we kind of meet the people that have similar nervous systems. So
Mhm.
to me, I keep meeting the most incredible women who
Mhm.
are business owners. I would actually say I haven't done the research, but I would guess the majority of business owners who are women are some flavor of neurodivergent. Some flavor. There are many
Mhm.
flavors of neurodivergent
Yeah.
because we don't want to work for anyone. It's annoying. It's, and,
We don't wanna
you
be
know,
regulated by anyone.
yeah, we like novelty. We like to keep our
Mhm.
schedules exactly how we want our schedules, whether it's like chaotic or rigid.
Mhm.
We love to have a million ideas and run with them
Mhm.
and then pivot immediately. We
Mhm.
do have windows where we have a lot of energy and ideas, and we have
Mhm.
windows where we are just feeling stuck and frozen. And if you have rejection sensitive dysphoria along with your neurodivergence, which can be a part of autism, ADHD, or more ADHD,
Mhm.
you probably have a lot of days where you are working with your own shame, thinking your ideas, your work, how you're showing up if you're working for a corporation
Mhm.
was bad and burning out from that. So I would say a lot of people who are entrepreneurs are
Mhm.
very likely neurodivergent because it gives us the freedom to kind of live within our parameters, go to the
Mhm.
beat of our own drum,
Mhm.
and not have to suffer through certain
Mhm.
things that we might have to otherwise, like even just uh, fluorescent lights in an
Mhm.
office we don't want to
Yeah.
work in.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it also sets up a lot of folks for chronic burnout. So I hear more than anything, I know I have such an incredible amount of potential. I know I'm smart as hell.
Mhm.
And I know I have a million good ideas and I cannot execute them. I can't follow it through to the end
Mhm.
because I'm doing 10 projects at the same time and then none of them
Mhm.
get done because I lose interest on all of them by the time,
Mhm.
I hear
Yeah.
people in paralysis because they have 1,000 amazing ideas, but can't move from the idea phase to the let's get started phase. And
Mhm. Mhm.
most of them are still kind of chipping away at their businesses, but secretly suffer thinking that everyone else is doing this, everyone else is crushing it, everyone else is making multiple six figures, whatever.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of people who are hiding
Mhm.
behind their social media, behind their desks,
Mhm.
worried that they are doing it more slowly than others or not as effective or not as efficient.
Mhm.
And there are also millions of folks who are really successful in other ways
Mhm.
that we don't know are AuDHD
Mhm.
because they've learned the structures and systems and
Mhm.
support that work so they can just let it go. And
Mhm.
what we can create is incredible.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we're so
Mhm.
attuned and we're so sensitive and we're so creative. So
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
know if I
Right.
answered your question.
Oh, you did. I mean, I think you're describing, like, the business owners that I know, and not that everyone's ADHD, but there's probably a lot of overlap in, the, like, having so many ideas and being so willing to generate and having the energy and being so excited and hyper focus and hyper, like, get it done and go down the rabbit hole. and the desire to achieve, maybe because of societal pressure, but maybe because you really like to do a thing that you're really interested in, paired with
Mhm.
needing it to go exactly as planned and having to have strict parameters around it. Then you have to like adjust to like, oh wait, but I want to do that other thing. And maybe things are never going to go to plan. And how do I deal with that when I'm in this mindset of like, I really need the dim lights and I need it to be perfectly quiet and I can't hear people outside and I need to follow the schedule and I need people to show up the way that they're supposed to show up, and that there's just like this constant, and then you keep pushing and you keep pushing and I'm overwhelming you with all, like, this is a very familiar experience to me. And then there's the crash and there's the
Mhm.
burnout and there's like the uncontrollable tears and there's the, my body feels like it weighs 10 tons. I can't move because I'm beyond exhausted.
Yeah.
And then you get up and you start over and you do it all again the next day. But that's
Yeah.
also what it requires historically, I think, to make a really big successful business. But I am learning from you that that's not what it requires, because you are a teacher to me in that you have chosen rest and reducing your allostatic load consistently over time, over the years and years that I've known you now as an adult. You have chosen to allow your body to speak to you and to listen and to take care of yourself. And that, I think, is like next level business owning leadership style, is to build in that time, and especially time for connection, for that co-regulation, whether that's in nature or with a pet or with a human or a therapist
Mhm.
or a coach. The co-regulation plus rest, like really building that in.
Yeah.
I
Restorative
could,
rest.
yes.
Yes.
And then imagine
I
what we can do. Not that that's the goal, but imagine, right? Like if we're
yeah.
actually
I
feeling
feel
better.
so grateful to have the privilege to have
Yeah.
experimented to do that. Um, just in the last year, just maybe year and a half, I don't know.
Hmm.
Since I really started accepting my diagnosis or identification of
Hmm.
ADHD, I fought it for 3 years
Hmm.
because I was so indoctrinated by this is just trauma and
Yeah.
autism and ADHD look like that. That's not what
Right.
but I and then it clicked and I was like, "Oh, freedom." I've been really focusing on the cost of doing business, that allostatic load piece, and I don't think about the allostatic load much personally, like, in my own life, but I made a switch finally when I was like, "Oh my god, I am ADHD. What a cost it is to go
Hmm.
grocery shopping. Like, what
Hmm.
a cost to go sit around and have coffee with people that I'm not interested in a damn thing that they're talking about. Like,
Hmm.
what a cost to be so highly masked and people pleasing that person that I am just dying to like me for XYZ reason that doesn't actually make sense." And so I have been trying so much to just focus on the opposite of like what is nourishing. I
Hmm.
know what's costly. I've done it forever. But finally I gave myself permission to stop spending the
Okay.
things that I don't have anymore. I don't have the ability to people please or be polite or perform or perfect. And if I
Mm,
do, I can do it for 5 minutes and that is it. And then I hit a wall.
I love that.
Um, so I found, I think, I don't know if it's been 10 years,
Hmm.
maybe less, but I still have the same assistant. She's a really good
Hmm.
friend, Ellen.
Hmm.
And every 3 weeks I'd be like, "Ellen, I'm quitting." "Ellen, cancel everything. I'm quitting. Don't
Uh-huh.
talk to me, don't call me, handle it." And she's so kind. She would just be like, "No problem. Whatever you need,
Yeah.
go rest." And I would just die under a weighted blanket. I also suffer from PMDD, which is premenstrual dysmorphic disorder,
Hmm.
which a lot of autistic folks have. And
Interesting.
so you do literally feel like dying for at least a week, a month. And she was so kind. And she
Hmm.
just stuck with me. And
Hmm.
then we implemented it. I'm only working 3 weeks out of a month. I have the
Hmm.
rest of the month off. It's either one
Hmm.
week or two.
Hmm.
And I didn't have to call her anymore and be like, "I can't do it anymore," because my
Yeah.
inner child already knew, I can work, and I love work for these
Yeah.
3 weeks, and then I get to go do whatever I want, and then
Yeah.
that's where whatever needs to happen gets to happen,
Hmm.
and I have not skipped a beat. I mean, so if I work, it's because I want to. on
Mhm.
those weeks, but never because I have to.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
even that, just being able to go, my neurodivergence needs something that is radical permission and that most people don't do. And now I hear a lot of people doing it and it makes me so
Really?
happy.
Oh, that's so great. I've told so many people about you taking 1 week off a month. And I know it's taken you a long time to get there and like really develop the system and structure for your business and your livelihood to be able to do that. But you have prioritized that, which I think, I mean, what a guide or like beacon of light that you are to show that it's possible to do that. You know, we all have different circumstances and, of course, different privileges that allow us to do that or not. But you practicing that is truly a gift for me to see and then to share with the world. If Shelby can do it, and it's taken her a while to figure out how to do it, but it has really served you and like helped you be like come back to
Yeah.
yourself and to feel good. We
Yeah.
got to change some things.
Well, those are the weeks too where like I went to Fernie, British Columbia for
Mhm.
I don't know, 2 weeks
Mhm.
last month.
Mhm.
And those are the weeks where I'm like, I don't have anything I have to do. And then a whole book just like flies out of me, like the entire outline or
Yeah,
52 weeks of Substack in 2 hours,
crazy. Yeah.
If I tried to push myself to do that, it would take me 3,000 hours.
Yeah.
So when I'm able to get that restorative rest and non-pressured time,
Mhm.
then the things that build my business, that's what my business has been built on, those ideas, the inspirations, the hyper focus,
Mhm.
midnight. This is awesome. Not all of them. um, but I mean, you saw me at probably my worst when that my business crashed completely. I was shifting gears. I was recently diagnosed. I went through the heartbreak of all heartbreaks.
Mhm.
The government was scaring all my clients with insurance stuff and
Yeah.
autism related threats. And so people just stopped coming to
Mhm.
therapy. And
Mhm.
I had not seen anything like that ever.
Mhm.
And I stuck with the 3 weeks on, 1 week off and went into debt.
Mhm.
And I paid it all back immediately within a year.
Mhm.
And part of that time was no, this is what I know I need. This is what
Mhm.
feeds my nervous system. I will short circuit if I try to hustle. It won't
Mhm.
work. I've tried
Mhm.
it. And having supportive friends that can like reflect back
Mhm.
the reality of what's happening, some helpful tips. Thank
Mhm.
you. And not like it's my own personal failing. And
Right.
we all need that.
Yeah, totally. And it's so hard to not take it personally when it's your business that you're running and then seeing it business ebbs and flows. There are always going to be dark, scary times. And it's so hard not to beat yourself up when you're in a dark, scary place with it. But having affirming friends and people who really support you and can see like the bigger picture is so helpful. And then you actually practicing what you practice, what you preach also, but like practicing your practice and sticking with it.
Hmm. Yeah,
You didn't have to. You could have been like, okay, now I got to hustle, but you stuck to your like your inner knowing of what was right and
totally.
true for you.
Totally.
You're such a good
Mm.
influence.
Eh, eh. Not really.
I know you're not trying to be, but I really mean that in a way. Your presence is such a gift, and seeing what you are teaching and practicing, I think it's helpful. It's just good to see, and it works for you. It might not work for everyone. I get that, but just knowing that you have really attuned to what works for you and that you have chosen to prioritize that, it's so easy not to. It's so easy to prioritize
Mhm.
everything else but ourselves. So I guess
It
that's the gift,
is.
is seeing that you have done that, and it's been hard at times, but it really is working.
Yeah. Thankfully, part of autism and AuDHD is a firm social justice stance.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't know that. It's like we're very committed to our own, whatever we are passionate about in
Mhm.
terms of social justice. And
Mhm.
for me, it is not hustle. Like,
Mhm.
I'm like, I have a strong inner rebellion that's like, I will not drink that Kool-Aid. I am not
Yeah.
following that patriarchy. I am not doing that capitalistic crap. I'm taking care of my damn body, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And that actually probably does come from the autism. We love rules unless we feel like they don't apply to us or they don't make
Uh-huh.
sense to us.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you would like people to know about you or that you'd like to share?
I don't know why I feel called to share this, but I mean, I so appreciate your kind reflection around like you're a great influence, and I'm gonna take it in after we get off. I'm gonna let it in. Um, it also feels important to name that human piece that you were naming earlier, like when you ask your therapist, "What are you working on?" Because most recently, I've been voraciously learning about rejection sensitive dysphoria, which
Mhm.
my gosh, how did we not know about that until now?
Mhm.
And, the best book I have ever read about it, the only book I've ever read about it, just came out 2 days ago, and I read it. Um,
Sure.
I've been waiting for it for 4 months. It's called, Why Does Everyone Hate Me?
Oh.
And I really suffer from my social interactions and all of my relational interactions, and
Mhm.
um it is part of, I think, the repetitive microaggressions over the years of like, you're not interesting, you're boring, you're this is like family related mostly, but you're not fun enough, why aren't you more playful, you take things too seriously, you're so difficult, you're so damn sensitive, you're so intense, you're so, and
Mm.
so like you get enough of those paper cuts, and maybe your wiring came in already
Mhm.
prone to like rejection hitting you extra.
Mhm.
I did, and I always just thought that I thought I was broken. Broken,
Mhm.
broken, broken, because being around people just brings up such a sense of like, what the F is wrong with me? Like,
Mhm.
I love my clients, but it's a very clear role. I know
Mhm.
what I'm here to do. I know I'm
Mhm.
good at it.
Mhm.
But in an unstructured environment, I am like so anxious and
Mhm.
I'm over monitoring myself. And I'm very good at just talking about the things that the person in front of me wants to talk about.
Mhm.
My mom is very polite, so I learned politeness. And I am right now in my unmasking process, still really struggling with, probably more than ever,
Mhm.
who the heck am I in front of people? I
Mhm.
finally figured out here who I am, and I actually like
Mhm.
who I am
Mhm.
when I'm not masked
Yeah.
with the horses and the dogs and the trees and the mountains. But it's heightened more than anything,
Mhm.
that discomfort when I'm in front of people now, because I feel free when I'm not.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it is like watching a train wreck. I'm like, how did I just say that? Or, and
Yeah.
it's not mean. It's actually finally hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's to the point where I'm like, my goodness, how have I been living like this for 45 years?
Yeah.
Wow. And oh, it is really painful interacting with almost anybody for more than 30 seconds. And um my dog is being hilarious next to me. Um I just want to say that in case, I don't
Yeah.
want anyone to think I got it all figured out, but more, if others are wearing that mask, I know how hard it is to try to get
Mhm.
underneath it.
Mhm.
I still can't figure out why I can't be the me that is here
Mhm.
in this sacred bubble for
Mhm.
5 minutes at
Yeah.
the grocery store?
Yeah.
And yes, maybe that is also a me, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
intense. Being neurodivergent is intense.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, myself included. But you're also, it seems like, in this phase of getting to spend a lot of time alone and in nature and reconnecting with yourself. And so I imagine it's even more jarring going out into public and having to interact with people, and then even being in groups of people or having whatever meetings that you're in outside of work. Like, you've spent an hour and 20 minutes with me now, and I know that more than 30 seconds is challenging. So thank you. I I'm joking, but I really appreciate spending time with you, but I do relate to what you're talking about, and I love that you've had the experience of, like, really connecting with who you are and really loving who you are, and now there's the work of, like, how do I love who I am and be around people and feel safe and connected in a way that's not really exhausting or performative, and
Yes,
when
or
you
perfectionistic.
right, you figure that out, let me know.
Ugh. Let's do it together. I mean, my goodness, why did I think baking cookies was dumb? I'm out here, I'm like baking cookies, I'm baking muffins, and I'm like, why did I shut this down for so long? It's so great.
I love that.
So funny.
Yeah.
Can I show your audience this cute thing I'm looking at?
Yes.
This is my 1-year-old golden retriever named Ripley.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how dogs get their bodies into those shapes, but he looks very
His
comfortable.
his feet are totally muddy.
And his belly, huh?
That is the giant dog bed, so he's allowed to be muddy right there.
Yeah. That's so sweet. I love
Yes.
that. Um, well, Shelby, where can people find you if they want to work with you or learn more about you? What's the best way to check you out?
My website is Shelby dash like hyphen Leigh, Leigh.com. You can find me at Method Creative, which is Lindsay Macrith's amazing, prolific business for neurocomplex folks. And probably on Anne Marie's website kind of soon, because I think we're going to do something fun together as well.
I hope so. I think all of this is so perfect for the clients that I'm working with, and having you available as a resource will be incredible.
Yay. Oh, thank you so much. This has been really lovely.
Oh my gosh, I just feel like this was the easiest conversation, and you're so smart, and I love learning from you, and you have genuinely taught me so much. So thank you.
Mm.
Right. Today, we have a really beautiful and affirming conversation with Shelby Leigh. Shelby is a licensed somatic psychotherapist, assessor, coach, and meditation teacher with over 20 years of experience supporting deep feelers and sensitive souls. Her work is grounded in relational, somatically focused trauma healing and gentle nervous system support, alongside autism and ADHD assessments and support for late diagnosed, high masking folks. Shelby's practice is neurodiversity affirming, inclusive, and deeply trauma informed. Her fierce tenderness, compassion, and care offer people a true refuge for coming home to themselves. Shelby's approach is shaped by her lived experience as a neurocomplex person and a lifelong devotion to embodied leadership, the kind that builds steadiness, honors sacredness, and makes room for belonging.